So in today's video, I will be giving you guys an upload for the first 2 weeks. Even while you are revising all of these subjects, right now we are moving away from learning because that time has passed. Hi everyone, welcome back to CLAT Waves. I hope you all are having a great day, and in today's video, I will be giving you guys a revision plan for CLAT 2026. So there is less than 1 month left for the exam, and for now, we only need smart revision. Okay, we are not going to focus on any new concept over here because there are only 30 days, in fact less than 30 days ahead. Okay, there's an approach as to how you can revise each and every subject properly. Okay, because for the exam, you need to revise all the 5 sections, that too efficiently. Okay, by not burdening yourself either. And the aim for today's video, if you follow the revision plan and tweak it according to your requirements, you will be able to improve your score, speed, and overall practice. So let's get started with it. First, I'll just give you guys an overview of the plan. On a daily basis, I would suggest that you guys put a focus on one section, all right? And if not, you can carry all the sections together as well. Your preparation is insanely subjective. So I will not give you a one-size-fits-all plan. I will give you a brief idea on how you can plan your revision strategy. Okay, so by the end of the week or on a weekly basis, you will be able to cover all 5 sections. So don't worry about skipping on a section or fear of losing marks. If you follow this plan, you will be able to cover all 5 sections properly, and you will also need to give mocks. Okay, at this point, you should ideally give 2 to 3 mocks per week. Okay, because right now we are focusing a lot on revision and practice. Right now we are moving away from learning because that time has passed. All right, and now we are only going to focus on the revision. So the first subject that I will be talking about is legal reasoning. So an overall strategy for this subject is that you guys can devote 1.5 to 2 hours per day, although this depends on your strength. Okay, like I said, your preparation is very subjective, so you guys know where you stand. If you have proper practice in legal reasoning, or you need some more time, or you need to devote more time to other subjects. So it's completely subjective, but ideally don't give less than 1.5 hours. Then you will not be doing an ideal practice. The second thing that you should focus on are PYQ passages, because there is a pattern in legal reasoning that you will be able to identify once you solve the PYQs. And if you have already, just give them a go once again. Ideally, you can solve CLAT 2025 because that was the latest, and also focus on CLAT 2023 and 2024. Okay, so these 3 years should be done. If not, then you guys can solve the legal reasoning section of these 3 papers. Then you have to revise your legal terms, landmark judgments, and core concepts. By core concepts, I mean to say, what is a contract? Okay, so all these things, the basic things that you guys should know, right? The fundamentals of legal reasoning, you guys have to revise that, and you have to practice sectionals under a timer. Right now the foundation building has been done. Now we have to focus on speed as well. So start increasing your speed also a little bit, but don't push yourself over the edge. Just continue your practice on a daily basis, and you will notice an improvement. Now, here is a weekly approach, just to revise the past year questions that you guys have solved or will solve if you have not. And please revise the commonly recurring topics like the Constitution. And even in the Constitution, the fundamental rights are extremely important. So revise that. Contract law, what are the essentials of a contract? What are the void contracts? And things like that. So you have to revise all these fundamentals and the very frequently asked questions. And you have to do daily sectional practice. Okay, without practice, there is no improvement, as we all have realized by this time in our preparation. So continue your practice. Then for the next 2 weeks, weeks 3 to 4, shift towards the weak topics that you have identified. While you were revising, you must have realized that, oh, I have studied fundamental rights a long time ago and I have forgotten some of it. So start focusing on some of the weak topics or some of the forgotten topics too. It happens that you tend to forget some things, and that is perfectly fine. That is what the revision is for. So shift some focus to the weak topics that you have identified during this revision stage, and continue your sectional practice. Okay, and this sectional practice should be timed. Okay, now we are going to focus on the speed a lot more. Next, moving on, let's talk about English language. That is the second subject. So for the first week, obviously you have to do reading comprehensions. This is common for all the weeks, because without RCs there is no English. Okay, so focus on reading comprehensions and focus on understanding the passages, what it is saying, any new words that you are learning. Keep maintaining a track of it, and all the vocabulary that you must have made. You guys must have a vocab list at this point of time, after preparing for so long. Do a recapitulation of all of that vocabulary, and just to give you a structure, I would suggest to revise tones, figures of speech, and do a practice of these two topics in the first week. You can obviously add more topics as you require. Okay, adding to the point, your preparation is insanely subjective, so you guys know what topics you need to prioritize for yourself. But these two topics should not be missed at all. Okay, these two are insanely important. Next, moving on to week 2, continue your reading comprehensions on a daily basis. Okay, and then also start focusing on the main idea based questions. What is the passage asking you to do? What is the author's central argument? Things like that. Then you can also shift to genre based practice. You can do passages based on law, philosophy, economics, and philanthropy, science, anything like that. Okay, and this will increase your ability to understand new language. Okay, sometimes for some students it is difficult to understand economics based passages. So if you have solved a couple of passages and at least try to understand a few of them before the exam, you are in a groove a little bit. You are training your mind to read and look at economics based words. So during the exam day you will not be shocked कि ये कहाँ से आ गया. All right, so it will be easy for you during the exam day. So do a genre based practice as well. And then for the last 2 weeks, practice all kinds of questions. Okay, mixed RC sets on a daily basis. Okay, ideally 2 to 3 sets. All right, then sectional practice, the same thing, and do a final revision of the vocabulary and the concepts. By concepts I mean active and passive voice, and tenses, grammar. Okay, things like that. So revise all these concepts too, because you never know what can be asked. And of course, the most important topics, tones and figures of speech. Okay, so don't skip out on these topics at least. Moving on to our third subject, which is logical reasoning. For logical reasoning, the best thing that you can do is practice. Okay, because the concept is the same. Okay, the concept is the same, but once you are done with the concept, you should know how to apply these. Okay, so the application of these concepts is very important. So I will be stressing more on the practice factor. Okay, so for the first 2 weeks for logical reasoning, do a daily sectional practice. And like I said, this should be a timed practice. Okay, put yourself under the timer. And some topics that you can ideally revise the concepts of are arguments, inference, and conclusion based questions. So you can revise the concepts of these, because sometimes we forget the concepts and naturally we tend to make a mistake in our reasoning. So it is good and very much ideal to revise all the concepts at least once before the exam. Okay, so for the first 2 weeks, you guys can focus on these 3 topics. And for the third week, you can focus on strengthening and weakening concepts and do a practice of these as well. Do a topic-wise practice also and sectional practice as well. And for the fourth week, revise all the concepts that you have done, review any errors, and timed practice. Okay, for the last week, you guys must be noticing that I am not really bringing up specific topics, because this is the last leg of the preparation. The fourth week is the last leg. We are talking about a couple of days towards the exam. So don't strain yourself with all the topics at once. Do it slowly, but revise everything. Okay. Next, moving on to general knowledge. All right, so after logical reasoning, we have general knowledge. That is the fourth section over here. So on a daily basis, you have to revise the current affairs notes that you have made during your preparation. Okay, while you must have been, taking classes or YouTube lectures or any material that has been provided to you, you must have made notes from it. Revise all the notes that you have made. And I would suggest, don't make more notes. Don't make more notes after 1 week. Okay, after 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, stop making the daily current affairs notes, all right, and start revising your static GK. So for the first week, revise modern history and polity, all the notes and material that you have, revise that. For the second week, revise geography and economics. Third week, revise all the important dates and science topics that you have done. And for the fourth week, revise all the sports and awards. So this week-wise approach has been given for static GK. But on a daily basis, you have to do the current affairs. So your GK is the one subject that you have to do on a daily basis, all right? And that will really, really help you with the revision of all the old news that you have done. And along with that, focus on the static GK as well, especially modern history, because every year, at least 1 to 2 questions are asked from modern history, especially the independence movement. Moving on to the last section, that is the quantitative aptitude. For maths, I am giving you some topics that you have to revise over the course of 3 weeks. And for the fourth week, you guys have to just do practice, practice, and practice. Okay, don't focus on a specific topic, revise and practice all the topics. Just have a look at all the formulas and everything. So the first week, you have to revise ratio, percentage, and average. And of course, you have to do a practice of these topics. And whatever topics that you're finding weak, just watch a video or a concept video of them again. Okay, it's possible that sometimes we forget the application of concepts. So for that, the practice and concept revision becomes very important. So kindly do that. And in the second week, focus on time and work and speed and distance. Okay, I accidentally wrote time again, so excuse me for that. Revise these two topics because these two topics are big topics. Okay, they get a little bit complicated when you know add on a lot more sub concepts as well. So just focus on these two and do timed practice and a revision of all the formulas. As you are revising all these topics, keep a formula sheet with you, and जैसे जैसे आप पढ़ रहे हो, जैसे for example I am doing ratio first, I am writing all the formulas of that, then I am doing percentage, so I am writing all the formulas of that as I am studying. So maintain this formula sheet and keep revising it after every week. Okay, and for the third week, focus on profit and loss and start doing caselets and data interpretations too, like start understanding bar graphs. Okay, understanding nahi, revising them rather, because ideally all the concepts should have been done. If you guys have not done any concept, you guys can let go of the first week to cover up the remaining concepts, and maybe you can start the revision from the second week, but ideally the concepts should be done. Moving on, let's now talk about some tips so that you actually stick to this plan, because कभी कभी ऐसा होता है that हम planning तो बहुत करते हैं but वो implement नहीं हो पाता है. So just know that अगर कोई एक दिन अच्छा नहीं गया, maybe you guys have decided that we'll do legal and GK and all these things on a daily basis, but one day you fell sick or मन नहीं हुआ or you were feeling demotivated, something like that. Don't pile up the rest of the studies because अब टाइम नहीं है कैच अप करने के लिए. अगर अगस्त में आप प्रिपरेशन कर रहे होते, if this was August and आपका एक दिन अच्छा नहीं जाता, then it would not have been a problem because you would have had time to cover up for it. But now the time is very much less and you have to increase your efficiency a lot more. Okay, you have to increase your efficiency also and your consistency also. So अगर by chance आपका कोई एक दिन नहीं अच्छा जाता है, then please make up for it. Okay, उसको next day ideally आप cover कर लो and don't pile up anything. And also, even while you are revising all of these subjects, don't skip your mocks and analysis. Okay, I'm stressing on this again and again. Give 2 to 3 mocks a week and analyze them to the core. Okay, figure out every single mistake you have done, because it sometimes happens that जो चीज आप सबसे लास्ट में रिव्यू करते हो वो बाय चांस पेपर में आ जाती है एंड वो आपका अच्छा चला जाता है. एंड फॉर सम पीपल यू गाइज थिंक दैट अरे ये तो पेपर में नहीं आएगा, बट वही पेपर में आ जाता है. सो वी डोंट वांट दैट हैपनिंग फॉर अस. यू हैव टू एनालाइज ईच एंड एवरी मिस्टेक दैट यू डू इन द मॉक टेस्ट. And ideally, I would suggest to keep legal and GK daily. GK तो daily करना ही है, especially current affairs. Okay, you have to revise the current affairs daily because naturally there is a lot of material for current affairs. आपने हर दिन की news cover करी है. Okay, so there is a lot of material and you will be able to do it. Okay, if you do it daily. Legal is extremely important because it's just a heavy weighted subject. All right, and this is the time to fix your mistakes. This is the time. Ab time hai and you can do it. Okay, believe in yourself. You will be able to cover up all your mistakes. And even if you're not able to cover your mistakes, it's perfectly fine. Don't feel demotivated at this stage. I just want to bring one more thing to your notice. Some students must be feeling, and some of you have approached us saying that you guys are feeling very stagnant in your preparation. Please know that this stagnant phase comes in the preparation at least once. So it is perfectly fine. अगर स्कोर नहीं इम्प्रूव हो रहा है, रीडिंग अचानक से स्लो हो रही है, यू आर नॉट फीलिंग दैट कॉन्फिडेंट, जस्ट नो दैट द फिनिश लाइन इज इंसेनली क्लोज. आप बहुत पास आ चुके हो एग्जाम डेट के एंड डोंट टेक इट एज अ स्ट्रेसर. ओके, डिस्ट्रेस मत होने दो एग्जाम से. ओके, टेक इट एज अ यू स्ट्रेस. ऑल साइकोलॉजी स्टूडेंट्स मस्ट नो यू स्ट्रेस इज अ काइंड ऑफ स्ट्रेस दैट पुशेज यू टू डू समथिंग बेटर. ओके, so take it as a use stress. इसको अच्छे तरीके से लो. Don't let it demotivate you. And thank you very much for joining this session. I hope you guys like the strategy and will try to implement it in your study schedule. You guys can definitely tweak it according to your needs because nothing is a one size fits all. Everything is subjective. And if you guys have any doubts or anything you want us to help you with, anything you're not able to figure out, comment them in the comment box below and we will reach out to you. And that is it for this session. Follow us on Telegram at CLATWaves and we have a WhatsApp group also. The link for it is in the description box. Thank you so much for joining the video. Have a great day.